electricity, where you can build it for the very wealthy, which a lot of the big pay TV operators have done. But then if you want to build it for someone who's on an Android device, for example, it's a completely different framework of thinking. For example, there's been this massive Naira devaluation. You know, Netflix in the West, their growth slowed when they added $1. Well, the prices have come, I think it's like $16 or so in Nigeria, the impact on our prices just from the recent dollar revaluation. That's the kind of realities of emerging markets, which a company which buys the content in dollars, bills in dollars, doesn't have the problem with. But the moment you have like local currency exposure, you start to have problems.
Sure. Do you know particularly why there's such a high demand for Nigerian movies and music to Nigerians and Africans in diaspora? Is it a connection to being back home, or what is it?
You know, the affinity for, one, stories which at least resonate with them, people who look like them. If you think about it, like, there are very few stories in Hollywood which really represent like African culture. Sure. African Americans have their own thing, but like I'm talking about like Africans in America.
Nigerian with a Kenyan accent.
Absolutely, there you have it. So it's something to call out, but more importantly, it's like names like ours. It's like, you know, for a lot of people, their first real experience of Lagos, sitting in the diaspora, is from watching a Hollywood movie. So it gives them like a new perspective on home, and it's something which I think people who watch it are genuinely proud of. And I think that's why people will stop watching whatever's available in Hollywood and say, you know what, let me face this Hollywood stuff, because it's just different. It's for me, it's something I can hold on to, and it's something which has gone beyond Nigeria and beyond West Africa, and just like it's permeated like all different sort of cultures, like everywhere.
Okay, Jason, your setup is very impressive. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
No problem.
Wow, now that was quite an exciting chat we just had. It is quite inspiring to see young Africans taking control of Africa's future, especially in a space that is primarily dominated across the world by young minds.
At the forefront of the online retail wave in Africa is Jumia, which is backed by one of the world's largest e-commerce focused venture capital firms, Rocket Internet. I'm here to meet with Nicholas Martin to get a clear idea of how this all works from the bottom to the top.
Now, what was the reason for starting Jumia?
I think we have seen for Jumia an amazing opportunity to bring the concept that was successful in the West, in China, in India, here in Africa, in the biggest economy of Africa, in Nigeria, and pretty much everywhere in the continent. And so, which sums up or boils down to bringing amazingly good, genuine, branded products at a very, very good price, and through a very convenient service delivered to you, to your home. And it's even more relevant for African countries, especially like Nigeria, where you have a traffic that is crazy.
Sure.
And so for which the shopping experience in a mall that we might know somewhere else is actually not a very pleasant one. Cost-wise, assortment-wise, and convenience-wise. And for this, that's why Jumia is actually extremely relevant.
Okay, compared to the rest of the world, how big is the African online market space?
Obviously it's nascent, but the potential is as big as it is, and I would even argue it's actually bigger in terms of share of business or share of proportion.
Really?
If you take America today, the US, in the whole retail space, online is 15%, and 85% are offline malls, shops that you can see.
The traditional shopping.
Exactly. Here, there is no definite statistics, but if you look at it, there is absolutely no reason when you see the all the roadblocks that are facing offline and traditional shops, that online couldn't take between 30 and 50% of it in Nigeria and in Africa in general. And when you see the level of dynamism in those economies and this middle class emerging in Nigeria and in Africa is growing.
More disposable income?
Yeah, very much so. And we start to see actually Nigerian customer and African customer reaching and being eager to buy and purchase the same kind of products that we can see everywhere else in the world. iPhone 6 is as big here than it is in New York.
Sure. All right. Unless one's been living under a rock, everybody's heard of Jumia. How important is brand awareness for your company?
It's like any human encounter and mere human relationship. You want to present yourself and introduce yourself the most politely and the most honestly as possible. But in the end, it's not the way you introduce yourself that matters. It's the service you deliver.
Right.
It's what you do for people once you have engaged them. And so this is why for us, marketing is important for people to get to know us. But above everything else, the customer experience when they first purchase their product with us, that they make their first purchase or they come back, is for us even more important. Because this is in the end the best kind of marketing. When you say to your friends, I bought on Jumia and I love the experience, it's 10 times more powerful than any TV spot, any radio spot. I'm sorry because you're working on TV, but
That's fine.
but that's the truth.
Okay. Now, I love the jingle. Jumia, Jumia, Jumia. It's so catchy. Sometimes I'm sleeping and it just plays in my head. Who came up with the concept and how did you make that happen?
So we wanted. I'm very pleased that you
I love
like
it.
and we wanted something that resonates and that is also introducing us in the people who don't know us the way we are. Hip, fun. You can see around yourself actually
Sure.
very young.
Yes.
The company is 27, 26 years old on average, and extremely memorable and very much rooted in what is the reality and the truth of the African market and Nigeria
A
especially.
true representation.
So it's a creative from Nigeria. It's a creative agency from Nigeria that proposed us this. We loved it. We fell in love with it, and up to a point where we have actually even now fans on social media that are mimicking the dance, recording themselves. You can go on YouTube and finding like just young dancers that are trying to do the same.
That's
and for
great.
us, it's amazing.
It's great. How do you actually recruit? Because I'm looking and it seems quite diverse here in terms of male, female. The average age of the person, like you said, is 24. I'm seeing people who are not just Nigerian, some international employees. How do you recruit?
So first, this is the tip of the iceberg. And today, Jumia Nigeria is 6,000 people. But I think for us, the way we recruit it, we don't care where you come from, what you look like, what we care is, are you smart, are you hardworking, are you dedicated, and are you willing to embark on a dream that is going to change the face of e-commerce and commerce in Africa. And what I mean by that is that we need also you to be loyal, not loyal to the institution or loyal to your boss, but loyal to the dream. This is what we want to build. We want to build an amazing things and we want to do it together. And there is no coming in and out. You come in and then you're here for the whole journey.
Right, right. Okay. In terms of on-ground physical resources, what is required to run this sort of operation effectively?
A lot of work and a lot of sweat, I can tell you. But no, more importantly, I think why we have been successful at what we've done so far is I hope we have tried to be as humble as we can and try to learn from the ground up what people want, what they don't want, what they like. And we have been also extremely lucky or blessed to receive the support of investors that are not only have money, but know what it is to do e-commerce and know what the reality of Africa is.
Right.
We have MTN with us, we have Rocket Internet with us, we have Minicom with us. All those people bring a very unique knowledge and insights about what it is to do either e-commerce and to operate in African markets.
Okay. How do you see African online shopping being shaped in the near and distant future? Is it going to replace the traditional shopping malls?
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna, very much in Africa, there's gonna be what we say a leapfrog. The same way you could imagine that there was a leapfrog in the communication industry.
Right.
You move now in Lagos, everyone has a smartphone, everyone has a tablet, and they're all on 4G.
Exactly.
There are dozens of cities in Europe and the US that don't have even 3G.
Yes, that's true.
And so you went directly to this kind of infrastructure. You didn't build LAN, you didn't build like underground fiber.
But we're high tech.
But you're going directly to the next leap of generation of technology. And that's the same for retail and e-commerce. You can see a leapfrog moving away from very traditional markets, open air markets. In Europe, it went then to a massive mall and massive supermarkets, and I think we are going to actually skip that phase and go directly to online shopping.
Now, take me through the steps from step one to the end. Now, somebody ordering something, how do they start and how does it get to them?
So it's actually relatively simple. So they have many ways to place an order.
Okay.
They either can place it on the website online, they go to jumia.com.ng and they go online, they pick the product, they put it in a basket and they pay for it either through credit card or they select the payment option, which is pay on delivery. And
Like
then,
eBay or something like that?
like Amazon.
Okay, like Amazon.
Like Amazon. But they can also call our call center and ask, okay, do you have a computer that does this, and this, and place an order on the phone if they want. Last thing is they can also interact with one of the 5,000 agents we have all across Nigeria that are sales agents, that are providing to them the assortment of Jumia. Once the order is being placed, it all goes actually here.
Okay.
Those guys are in charge of finding the goods that are being on the website, pricing them, finding them. So every time an order is placed, they place the orders all across Nigeria to make sure that we bring the goods back to our logistical system. Here, it reaches our logistical hub. It's being packed, and it's then
in a warehouse.
In a warehouse, we have several warehouses actually across Lagos, and more than 30 distribution centers all across Nigeria. So it's being packed in the warehouse, then sent to a distribution center, the closest that you live by, and then from the distribution center there is a delivery unit, a bike, truck, a van, a car, whatever, depending on the size of the package that you have ordered, which is going to your place of delivery and making the transaction with you.
Now clearly your vision is long term because that's where the return is, but just how long is long term?
A century.
Really? That long?
It's going to be, no, Jumia is here to stay and to be an institution that's going to live past way beyond me for sure. Maybe not you, but I hope.
You flatter me.
but we are building something that is supposed to last 50, 100 years, decade-lasting institutions. And obviously, the Jumia in 3 years will have absolutely nothing in comparison to the Jumia you're seeing now. It's going to be completely different. I invite you to come back and visit us in 3 years.
I will come back.
Because you will see this is an infant. If I compare it to the growth of a human being, we are 5-year-old, 6-year-old.
Really?
So we know how to speak, we know how to read roughly, we know how to count a bit. But
there's more development to come.
In 2 or 3 years, we're going to be a fully grown adult and doing way more amazing things that we're already doing now.
Very impressive. Nicholas, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Africa is rapidly going digital. While just about 20% of the continent's 1 billion people are online, the internet's contribution to Africa's overall GDP has been low. However, that picture is fast changing. With the touch of a button from a smartphone to apps that can have people conducting business in between continents simultaneously, e-commerce is a major gateway to the new Africa the world sees. And by indication, the journey towards this sustainability has just begun. I'm James Layode, and until next episode on Channel Discovery, it's goodbye for now.